Hey, hello, everybody. We're live. It's 12 o'clock and it's time for the Money Show on BlackBusinessList.com. Today, we're going to have a conversation with Ronald Garnett of CashToFund.net. And of course, we've got a unique partnership, BlackBusinessList.com and CashToFund.net. This a brand new initiative where we're trying to get funding for Black business owners. And you can get access to over 250 private lenders and unbelievable amount of cash that is available. And you probably qualify. And, it's very interesting to say that you probably qualify, because I think most of us are used to saying we probably don't qualify because of,
Yeah.
but you probably qualify if you've got a job to income, but he'll get into that. But again, you're watching the Money Show. So we're going to do the intro and then we're going to come back with this amazing member of BlackBusinessList.com, Mr. Ronald Garnett. So hang tight, stay tuned, and we'll be right back. All right, BBL TV Money, we're back. Let's get to the money. We've got the money man with us, Mr. Ron Garnett of Garnett and Associates. He has this amazing platform that he has put together for Black entrepreneurs, and we're excited to have him here. And man, my
here too.
live TV, Mr. Ron. You see what just happened? I've been playing with this thing all day, all week. Didn't have a problem.
Okay.
But I'm fidgety and I'm touching it, and then now we have this. So let me just tighten this up a little bit here.
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't.
That's the beauty.
The most inopportune times.
I know it. That's the beauty. That's what people really love about live streaming, is because you get the real.
Right.
You don't get the polished. It's been edited 2,000 times. You get the real deal happening right then.
Okay.
So, yes, Mr. Garnett, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
All right. So I think there are many of us who saw the first few times we did this, and they might know a little bit about you. But for those who are just catching you for the first time, I want you to just state who you are and what you do for the Black business community.
Okay. My name is Ronald Garnett. My firm is called Garnett and Associates. I am a member of the Black Business List. And what I am is a commercial finance broker and consultant. What we do is work with people in the alternative finance market to get them funding for their business needs. The alternative finance market simply means that the money that we get for you is not FDIC insured. That is unregulated funds. So you have greater flexibility in getting the funds that you need because with regulated money, you have governmental regulations that will restrict the type of loans that can be given, because the government is basically guaranteeing that if the bank has bad loans and goes under, it's up to $100,000, I believe, is insured by the government.
Okay.
So there are restrictions on the types of money and types of loans that can be, given by a bank. That's the traditional market. Now, we're all familiar with the alternative market, because if somebody lends you money to start a business, that your grandmother, your mother, your father, that's considered alternative funding or financing.
Yes. I'm glad you said that. There's been this thing that's been put on us as Black entrepreneurs who come from humble beginnings.
Okay.
Right? We're bombarded in America with all of these success stories of entrepreneurs who started businesses in their garage. We've heard all the stories of the big tech leaders who started their business and in the garage, so to speak. And a lot of times that's not the full story. I know in the case of Mark Cuban.
Yes.
Mark Cuban had a business that he started when he was in college, but guess what? He had a rich uncle. He literally had an uncle that loaned him some money to get started with this first. I think he started a bar while he was in college. So I think he had little smaller businesses that he had started as a young man, but
Yeah.
that was like the first major business he had, that bar, while he was going to college. But it started with a loan. I can think of Motown. Barry Gordy, who started Motown Records, started that business with a loan. And time after time again, we see where it is not just this poor person that bootstrapped their way, but they got access to some funding, to some seed capital, one way or the other, to get them started so they can get started correctly. So tell us, what do you think? How important do you think it is to have access to capital, even when you're beginning your business?
Well, it's very important and it's critical, as a matter of fact, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, it's critical because money is the lifeblood of a business. And if you start with no money and are trying to fund that business where you're working and you're living on the edge and you're starting a business and trying to fund it too, you really don't have enough money to make the business successful or succeed. So you really need help from some place. Now, most of us, I don't have a rich uncle. I don't have a rich aunt. I grew up, I guess, in what they call it, it was just home to me. It was a ghetto to white people. It was a ghetto where,
Okay.
where everybody else considered it, and it was just where all my family lived, where all my friends, where everybody lived. But it wasn't a rich neighborhood. It was on the other side of the railroad tracks, and so forth and so on. And no, I didn't really have anybody to say, here is X amount of dollars to go start a business. In fact, when I started, that was a black businessman who had a store in on the wrong side of the track downstream of where I live.
Okay.
And when I started my business, I went to all the places the government says go, and they laughed me out the building. They said, no, we got nothing here for you. And I went to him and asked to buy a desk and a chair from my office. And he said, well, I can't, I can get it for you, get you anything you want. And he basically took me across the street to a bank in the black neighborhood, which has been closed, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And went to the manager and said, this man will start a business. He wants to buy some furniture from me. He needs some money, and actually co-signed the loan.
Oh, wow.
For like $5,000. Now, the furniture cost about $1,000, but that's how I got working capital, but just because I went to a black man I had known since I was a little boy, and decided I'd go to a black business to get my desk and a chair from the office, and he co-signed the loan for me. That's how I got any money.
Wow.
Started off with nothing. So,
wow.
But see, those kind of stories are few and far between because most people don't do stuff like that anymore. And that was a one-time event. And so I don't know if they'll do that. That bank is closed now. I also got a signature loan from a person I knew in college who got a job at a bank, and he gave me like a $1,500 signature loan, which they don't do anymore. And that's how I got money to start my business at that time.
Okay.
So it was just basically I knew somebody. Now, it wasn't enough money to really get me over the hump, but at least enough money to keep the rent rent being
Yeah.
and things like that. But
You know,
but go ahead.
no, absolutely. I was just getting ready to say that a lot of times, I remember when I worked as a manager, we had something in a retail store. We had something called a toolkit.
Uh-huh.
And with the toolkit, if we had a customer service issue, we could fix that customer service issue very quickly with the toolkit. So
Mm-hmm.
what the toolkit was a set of parameters that the upper management set to say if a customer is unhappy, here's what you can do. You can do A, B, C, or D. And it included sometimes give them a free this or free that, or give them, and so that takes money, right? To be able to extend free things or to offer them, whatever, to just kind of smooth over that customer service issue. Because in business, you're going to have customer service. Even Chick-fil-A, with their great customer service, they have issues that they have to fix from time to time. And it just happens in the nature
Yes.
of business. So, but when you're a Black entrepreneur and those customer service issues come up and you don't have money, it's very hard for you to fix. And so what happens is that you want, sometimes for some entrepreneurs, they want to make it right, but they don't have the resources to do so. They don't might not have the resources to extend a quick refund
Mm-hmm.
because they've already used the funds that came in.
That's true. That's true. When you're a Black business person, you don't keep it, and it just flows through you to somebody else. It doesn't
Right.
stick. It doesn't stick in your hands. And one thing I want to say, a couple of things I want to get into today, is that as entrepreneurs, the Black entrepreneurs, we are looking for small business loans. And we go to a bank or somebody for a small business loan. And there are articles you shared one with me about Black entrepreneurs getting small business loans. Well, the first thing you have to understand, I may have said this before, I don't know if I have or not. If you, Stephen Wicks, are starting a business, or I, Ron Garnett, are starting a business, and I'm just with my partner and I are starting a business, we are not a small business. We're a micro enterprise.
Mm.
And a small business is defined generally as a business that's been around for like maybe 2 years, has about 100 employees, and has gross revenues of $200,000 or more for 2 consecutive years. So
Okay.
a lot of us, when we walk into a bank to apply for a small business loan, we're not a small business. And we might get an application to be told no because you don't even qualify for a small business loan because you're not a small business. You are a micro enterprise. That's very important. So when we look for funding, we need to look at sources of funding that will deal with a micro enterprise.
Gotcha.
Because a bank, for looking for a small business loan, or looking for somebody $200,000, $400,000, $1 million on up. If you're a micro enterprise, if you can get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, you're dancing down the street.
Yeah.
Because you have enough money to function, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, in what I do is in our loans go from approximately, maybe depending on your credit, but from $10,000 to $400,000.
Okay.
But most of these people who are applying for this type of money are micro enterprises, not small businesses, because just you and your partner, you are a solopreneur, is what we call them.
Mm-hmm.
You are not a small business. You're a micro enterprise, and that's where you should look for your funding. If you are going into a situation where you don't qualify, or you are not what they're loaning money to, yes, it's going to be hard to get money. You're going to be turned down because you don't even fit the mold, what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you were going into a bank, you and Apple looking for a loan for an orange. So if you walk in the door, you're not qualified because you're not a small business. So let's look at the reality and not get sidetracked by advertisements about we doing this for small business and that for a small business. If you're a small business, they're looking for somebody about 100, 200 employees, $200,000 in revenue for 2 consecutive years, good collateral, so forth and so on. But you can get a small business loan if you have that, or qualify for one, but that's not you in most instances.
Mm-hmm.
So in the alternative finance market, someone like a broker like me, we can find you a funder that is willing to deal with somebody who's a micro enterprise rather than getting stuck in the small business mode, which you're not.
Gotcha.
So we need to have a realistic look at who we are and what we're looking for and where the funds are. Now, there are programs for micro enterprise, entrepreneurs, in various places. I'm one of many sources. I think I'm the best source, but because we basically offer an uncollateralized loan. Now, an uncollateralized loan is essentially a signature loan. That is, you go in and say, this is my credit history, this is my credit score, this is where I work. I want money based on your trust in me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tie up any of my assets. Now, banks, because they are regulated institutions, require collateral for their loans. So if you want to try and apply for a $50,000 loan, you need to have somewhere around $50,000 in collateral, such as either land or a retirement account or something that's worth $50,000. I mean, there's a whole old story where a guy wants to go into a bank to borrow money for his business, and they say, well, I need $50,000. So, well, what's the collateral? You have $50,000. So he says, so if I want to borrow $50,000, I need to have $50,000, right? Yeah. So, and that's the issue with collateral. If you don't have the collateral, you have to look around where can you get money with no collateral, and that's with a signature loan, an uncollateralized loan, which is what we offer, where you can go in and say, this is my income, this is my credit history, this is my debt credit ratio, and see how much I qualify for. Now, you can visit the link, bbl.cashtofund.net. You can go on there, answer some questions, and see how much you qualify for. Now, we just don't throw the money at you like Santa Claus, but we will tell you how much you qualify for and what kind of documentation we will require to try and get you the loan.
Great. Awesome. Go ahead.
You'll know in about maybe 15 minutes or so. And there's no collateral required. There is no application fee. The only fee that might be involved is where you have to open an account with a credit reporting agency. And that's because we want to do a soft pull, not a hard pull, so that it doesn't affect the credit. So that's why.
That's a good point. That's an important point. And actually, there's a list of questions that people have regarding trying to get some of these loans, and that's one of the questions. We're going to address that in a minute. I'm
Okay.
glad you brought that up. Again, folks, we're live, so if you have any questions, if you're watching, and you have any questions at all in terms of if you could potentially qualify for this funds, what's the range of funds, just so they can know what we're talking about in terms of how much is available?
Well, the lowest we go is like 3,000.
Okay.
Lowest. The highest we do is 400,000 right now. So
okay, so between
the factors.
that's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
So you get anywhere from 3,000 all the way up to $400,000, and again, that's because you're financing all types of things, right? You're financing someone that's just getting started in business, and you're also financing people who are in business and maybe they were trying to do a real estate deal, or it's a wide gamut of reasons, right?
Right. And generally with a signature loan, the funder will ask you in general what you need the money for, but it's not restricted. So if you apply for a signature loan, for example, and you qualify for $100,000, and you say, well, I want a $100,000 loan. The money is put in your account, and the only thing they care about is you're paying it back.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't look to see what you're doing with the money. The reason for the request is to make sure that you are somewhat stable and that you can pay the money back. But nobody looks at what you use the money for.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I always tell my clients, because we're not just brokers, we're consultants too, is when you get the money, you get the money to make more money. Don't get the money and decide, oh, gee, that's a nice watch I need. Oh, I need to look like a real good businessman, so I'm going to get me some nice suits and a tie and a car and everything.
Right.
Those are not things that are going to make you money. Use the money for something that's going to make you money.
Absolutely.
I mean, not for something that's going to make you look good. That's going to make you money. This is
right.
And no one is going to hold your hand and force you to use the money in the right way. Once you get the money, it's your money.
It's all on you. Right.
It's all on you. And you have to have some discretion as to how you're going to use the money.
Mm-hmm. Before another thing I wanted to bring up, well, I did bring up temporarily that website that showed that, yes, Black business people are struggling to get small business loans. This is an article by Forbes. Mm-hmm. And if you do a search, there are many articles out there that talk about how difficult it is for, for these people that are African-American and in business. And for those reasons that you talked about, I think it was, I'd never actually heard that said before, of trying to determine whether you're actually a small business or a micro enterprise. I think that's very, very important for people to understand. That question, do I have a business or a micro enterprise? And so the banks are funding businesses, but if you're a micro enterprise, your best chance of getting funding, outside funding, is probably going to be through a program like what Mr. Ron Garnett has with the private lending. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because most people don't realize that you're not actually a business yet until you reach a certain point of your formation.
Not a small business, no. And I think the SBA has some small programs for micro enterprise individuals. They have some. As a broker, I have gotten money for some of my clients through the SBA with the micro enterprise program. And it's a great program. I have used it myself. Now, the issues I had with it, I'm not downplaying it because I have used it and I've done it, is that anytime the government, there's a process you have to go through. And it's a longer process than you may want to deal with. I mean, you just don't go to get money that quickly. I mean, you may be talking 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And, depending on what the SBA is doing. And you might get more money privately. It might be a high interest rate, but might get your money in 2 or 3 weeks rather than 3 or 4 months. And if you are in business, a lot of times it's not getting the money, it's when you get the money. Because if you get the money at an inopportune time or a late time, it doesn't do you any good because you already have been hurt by not having the funds. If you need money and you don't have money to make payroll and you're out of business, doesn't help you get the money after you get, shut down. So there's a time element, and there's also an element of getting more money, because I have gone to other programs with my clients, and I thought they were going to get $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. They got 25 or 30, which was enough. I thought, gee, they should have got more money than that, but it's government money. And the government, they want some kind of collateral. It's not as strict in the micro enterprise program as it is with the 7A program or the 504 SBA programs, but it is somewhat stricter than the type of money that you could get with the bbl.cash2fund.net link money. So we might be not the only game in town. I think we're the best game in town. So
the best game in town.
That's just my opinion.
Okay, well, I think there's just a couple more questions. We're almost at 12:30.
Okay.
But a couple more questions that I found that I thought was good to ask, that people may be wondering about. Will my credit profile affect my ability to get the best loan rates? And I know that you might have some information about that.
Yes, your personal credit profile will affect the rates, and the reason it affects it is that you may have business credit, but if you're a one-person shop or a two-person shop, they are looking at you to pay that loan back. And so your business might have good credit, but you have a history of not paying your bills. And that's going to affect you because you are the business the way a lender will see it. So your credit profile will affect your ability to get the loan or get the best loan rates, because you are the business. I mean, you're the business. So if you get a loan for XYZ LLC, but it's just you, XYZ LLC might have a good business credit rating, but if the owner has a bad one, they're going to look at the loan as a bad risk, because they're going to look at the owner as the one who is going to co-sign that loan, who's going to be responsible for that loan, because they don't see a great difference between the owner and the business for its loan purposes.
Gotcha. But you do, however, to give people some encouragement, and what encouraged me about this program is that it's easier to get this type of, I want people to understand that, yes, your credit score matters. However, it is easier for you to get this type of loan through this program, through Mr. Garnett, than it is to walk into a bank. I think I want to keep the language very simple for everyone, and to really understand what we're saying is that you can't just miraculously have a 200. I don't even know if it's possible to have a 200 credit score. I don't know.
No.
But you can't have this super low credit score and people just give you money. However, for Black business people, it's important to understand that it's easier than what you probably expect, because you're probably used to being turned down at a bank. But what Mr. Garnett has is private lenders. And even though your credit score matters, it's a lot easier to get. Isn't that correct?
Yeah. Right. It's a different criteria. With a bank, they want you to have a 700 or 720, somewhere in that range. Banks will, in some instances, do 680 or above, but you got to have some real good collateral, got to have some really strong financials to get that type of loan. Now, our signature loans, to put you in the range of the 20,000 to 400,000, we have a credit score of like 620 or above to get you qualified for the loans.
Okay.
And that's like $20,000 to $400,000. We also have a special program for people with lower credit called the 580 program. That's what they call it. But that credit score is from 550 to 619. Now you can get loans in that category from $3,000 to $50,000. Now, I will tell you right now that if you walk into a bank with a 620 credit score or a 600 credit score, they're not going to give you anything. They're just not going to do it. You just don't qualify because it's just a numbers game. 619 is not 680. And if you don't have a 680, they're not going to even look at you. You don't even meet that criteria. So 550 to 619 credit score program is a fairly new program. It came out this year for people who had lower credit scores. Now, you need to be employed and you don't need to be in bankruptcy, and you need to have a couple of credit trade lines. That might be a credit card or a gas card or a furniture store card or something where you are paying consistently over a few months. And the reason for that is this is a high risk loan because, again, it's a signature loan.
Mm-hmm.
If you qualify for $25,000, they're going to put $25,000 into your bank account. And now what we do is basically, it's not free money. We're not Santa Claus, okay? Now what we do is take about a 15% success fee after you get the money. Now what I tell my clients to do is take how much money you want, multiply it times 115%. That's what you ask for.
Okay.
When the 15% is taken out, you are left with
the amount that you
need.
Yeah.
So if you need $100,000, you apply for $115,000.
Mm-hmm.
Pay the $15,000 once you get your money, and you left with $100,000. Then you start paying the money back in 30 days on the loan.
Gotcha.
So, that's why I said whatever you want, multiply it by 115% to get that success fee out the way.
We have a question, Mr. Ron.
Sure.
So Miss Letitia, she asks, does this program help a person get their credit score up, and is there a fee for it?
Okay. Yes and no. I will answer that question. All right. If for some reason your credit score does not meet our criteria, or if there's something in your credit profile that prevents you from getting the loan, we do have a program, or one of my funders has a program that will work with you to get you qualified for the loan. Now that fee is like $99 to start, and like I think $59 a month for however long it takes them to get you qualified. Generally, they're looking at maybe 3 months, maybe 4 months. Now, when I talked to the lender about the program, he said, now to tell people we are not in the credit repair business, okay? We're in the loan business. So that we're going to try and get the people as qualified as quickly as possible, which is normally a 3 to 4 month window. And once you get whatever is preventing you from getting the money, they automatically just apply for the loan for you. So yes, there is a fee for it. However, I have known them to waive that fee if they think they're gonna get you the money. And you just pay it when you get the loan.
Okay.
So I have had people who went to this program and not paid anything for it.
Wow.
Yes, there is a fee, but you pay it once you get funded.
That's awesome.
Restoration program, but they are not a program for credit restoration. They are somebody who's trying to get you qualified for the loan. So the criteria is get the people qualified within a 3 or 4 month period. Then we go ahead and give them the loan so we can get paid.
Mm-hmm. Right, because it's about getting the loan funded.
Get the loan funded, yes. So there is a program to get your credit score up to the point where you can get the loan. So they don't waive it every time, but they have waived it on some occasions for some of my clients.
Gotcha. Okay. Let me see. You got another comment here. Okay, what's the name of the company that does the credit repair that charges the $99 to start and $59 a month?
It's the same one with that bbl.cashtofund.net. Now, what they will do is they don't turn anybody down for a loan, okay? What they will do is if you don't qualify, they will say, we recommend you go to the credit restoration program until we get you in shape to get the loan you asked for. So they just don't say, no, forget it. They will always refer you to the credit restoration program.
Gotcha.
That's that 3 or 4 month program. Sometimes it's 2, but it depends on what the issue is. Now, sometimes people want to do it, sometimes they don't. One thing I want to say, again, I'm not trying to step on any toes here now, but we have to understand, especially as African Americans, that this loan is not a one-shot deal. Getting funding for your business is a process, okay? It's a process. So you might have to take a small amount of money, pay that off, and then apply for something else, because there is no prepayment penalty. Maybe you do need to go through credit restoration to get a loan, to get you started, pay that off, and then apply for a larger loan down the road. So it's a process, not a one-shot deal. If you're a business, you always need money, and you're gonna need money over the years. So you do want to have a funding partner there who you can go to and get the money you need over a period of time.
Right. We got time for one more question, and it's actually Miss Letitia again. She has a question about which credit bureau do they check for the loan they use to determine an approval?
They check all three. They
Yeah.
check Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. They check all three. They will refer you to a credit reporting service that will give them all three credit bureaus, because there is a difference between all three of them. They want see what everybody has, and that will determine what type of loan you qualify for. They do all three, so not just one.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think, again, everybody, if you're watching this on the replay, or if you're watching this right now and you're interested, you want to start the process, this is just starting the process to let Mr. Ron know you're interested in the program. You go to bbl.cashthefund.net. That link is in the description. So you can just click the direct link wherever you're watching this program at, and it'll take you right there to the website. Just a couple of lines of information. Is not long at all. Doesn't take long. And he'll get your information and he'll contact you, and then you can start it from there. But again, this is just, I'm very excited to bring this opportunity to, I wish I would have had this back in the day. That's all I can. That's all I can. Go ahead.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say, we could get into it later, different show, is that I think you told me this, Stephen, is that the average white entrepreneur, when they go to a bank, will get like $110,000 loan or so. Mm-hmm. The average black entrepreneur will get like a $32,000 loan. Yeah. And in this type of situation, what we call that in the industry is getting enough money to get yourself in trouble. That means you get enough money to get maybe a third of the way there and don't have enough money to finish the task.
Wow.
If you have a business and you got contracts and payroll and whatever, if you need $100,000 and you take 30, you're only going to get a third of the way there. I mean, with our program that we're talking about, we're going to try and get you $100,000 you need. And I would say one thing from what I have heard from all these people who have these stories, most of the people who get those loans have done everything right. They got a mortgage with the bank. They got a savings account with the bank. They got a checking account with the bank. They have been loyal customers for that bank. And they go and ask for a business loan, and they get a third of what they need or less. So, so maybe the bank is not the best option because, again, you are not a small business. You are a micro enterprise. So if you're a micro enterprise, you can't really fault the bank for not giving you the money you need, because you're asking them to do something that they don't really do.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of racism involved or systemic racism, but we've dealt with that all our lives. And so you're going to have to navigate those shark-infested waters. But if you go in there with the mindset that I've been with this bank 30 years or 20 years or 10 years. I got my house here. I got my car rental here. I paid everything great. I got a checking account. I got a savings account. Whatever. That does not mean you're going to get a business loan from those people. That doesn't mean anything. It means a little something. But the question is, are you going to get enough for what you need? And if you need $100,000 and you're getting a $30,000 loan, you really need to look at, is this going to fulfill my needs, or is it just going to get me in trouble where I have to close my business down in 6 or 7 months? And we've all seen it in in the Black community where you will see a Black business start, like a restaurant, for example, be going gangbusters for 2, 3, 4 months. 6 months later, it's closed, right?
Yes.
But
Wow.
you see,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've had people come to me, and I said, you don't have enough money right now to run this business like you want it to.
Mm.
You got to get operating capital. You got to get money that's going to be there for overhead and fixed cost. That's what the money is for. You know, to ease that those fixed costs, because those don't go away ever.
Yes.
And if you don't have enough money to handle that, you don't have enough money to do a business. So you need to make a determination. Well, do I start this business if I can't get enough money to run the business? So if you need $100,000 and you get 25 or 30, you have to make a determination. Do I take this step until I get enough money to run my business and give myself a chance? To give myself a chance. It's like taking a cross-country trip, knowing you need gas for 1,000 miles and you have enough for 300 or 400. What are you going to do?
You can get out there and get stuck, right? Oh boy. Yes, sir. Well, you've given us a lot to think about today, Mr. Ron. I appreciate you coming and sharing your expertise with us. And of course, again, we're going to be doing this every Wednesday at 12 noon. It's the Money Show. And this is Mr. Ron Garnett of Garnett and Associates. He's got this amazing platform, cashtofund.net, and he's giving money out to qualified people to either start or improve their business. So let's go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Ron, for being here. We're going to go ahead and close out. We want to thank everybody who joined us and put in your comments. And again, if you watch this on the replay, you can still put in your comments and we'll respond to those comments, even though it's after the live broadcast. But thank you so much for joining us. And Mr. Ron, we're going to see you next week.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And I want to say also, if you're a BBL member, look out to your email, because Mr. Ron is also going to be participating in the event that's happening Saturday, which is the All Black Affair, the virtual All Black Affair. So this is going to be an amazing event for entrepreneurs to come together and do like an all black party, but virtually. And, you know, just wear something black and come on in and let's have some fun. We have some prizes, some giveaway. The live part of this show, that show will be in Savannah, Georgia at the Hampton Inn, but the virtual you can participate in no matter where you live. So it's going to be pretty fun. So he's going to be on tap, and hopefully by the end of that broadcast, I want to be able to say that some people have started the process of getting funded that night. So that's what I really would love to happen as a result of that show. All right. All right, Mr. Ron, go ahead.
One thing I want to say is that I and my partners, people I work with, are going to fight to get you the money, because that's how we get paid. Unlike a bank, when you walk in, we don't have a paycheck at the end of the month. We get paid when you get paid.
When you get paid, right.
So we're going to fight to get you the money.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Ron, we appreciate it. And we'll see you on Saturday.
Okay, see you Saturday.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right.